Ill. What am I talking about today? Uh, I'm done being a hero. If it's retirement. Little weird translation at the end there, not gonna lie, but hey, that's what the common title is online if you look up the English title, so hey, whatever. I think there's an alternative title, I'm a hero, but I don't know if I should retire. But this is the one I saw more, so there you go. For all the fans of Google Translate, there you go. What's the gist? It's not an isekai, if we're being technical here. So you know, I'm not keeping the name, right? I'm not keeping the, you know, isekai boy title anymore. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Interesting story nonetheless, though. If you haven't seen any of my videos before, the general idea is I'm going to give you a rating off the bat, and then I'm going to go into why I gave you that rating. Yeah, I'm not going to really go into any spoilers. I'm just going to give you my general feelings on the series and, you know, some loose critique or, you know, favorite moments that I have throughout the series. Yeah. So, you know, watch it even if you don't want to be spoiled. You'll be fine. I think the general rating is like a 7. Pretty good. Don't have any issues. Can't complain. If you like some like well done tropes, then there you go. All right, let's get into it. What's the general story? Okay, not anything, you know, in depth. Just the general idea of the story. Well, this character was a hero, right? You know, given the whole, you know, it's like the whole holy sword shtick, right? She was a knight. She was given the holy sword, became the hero of an empire, and, you know, went around doing her heroic duties. But her life really wasn't that good, right? You know, although she was a hero, you know, she personally, you know, oh wow, she's so cool, right? Like, she's, you know, the best of the best. But emotionally speaking, real bad, right? Like, her life kind of blows. You know, her family's basically dead. You know, she doesn't have any close friends. She's, you know, basically being used by the royal family, right? Everything just kind of sucks. And, you know, to make things worse, she's dying, okay? Turns out using her abilities put a lot of strain on her body because, well, she didn't get, you know, the proper training and situations to keep herself going for a long period of time. So, once we see the story start, you know, she's, you know, she's older, right, than the majority of the story, right? This is how she looks. But things are going pretty bad. This version of her, you know, very stoic, things like that, right? But it's not that prominent. The basic idea of this is kind of just giving you a reason as to why like, her next life should be better. The basic idea is like the god, you know, the one above, you know, appreciates all of her work. She gets, I don't know how you say this. I guess, I mean, I guess the best way to put it would be like she was regressed. Like it's one of those regression stories. She's brought back, but things are slightly different, right? Like the holy sword is probably the only thing, at least so far, that remembers her previous life. There are indications that her god is giving her a little bit of a break in this life and believes that, you know, it's not required for her to do anything. She's allowed to do what she, you know, deems best. And of course, her idea is retirement. You know, she worked for so long, she wants to retire now. But it's not as simple as that, right? Like, her idea of retirement isn't just, I'm going to leave and go somewhere else or something like that. No, it's instead, I want to, you know, take care of my family and all that. Because in her previous life, her, you know, her family hit some hard times and, you know, she didn't have her parents and everything, so the idea is she's trying to help them. as well as some of the friends, things like that that she had along the way. So it's really not a retirement. It's more so like her trying to get to retirement. I think this title, like "Done Being a Hero," makes it sound like she's over it and all that. But no, I mean not really. It's more so just she's trying to be done, with being a hero. Fine. Yeah. So she is younger, but a core concept of this series is she has the knowledge from her previous life. She has the skill from her previous life, but she has all this at a younger age, so she's able to utilize it to hopefully change things for the better. As far as like thoughts on characters and everything, she's fine, right? Like I don't really think there's a lot of super unique elements to her. It's mostly just I'm going to help my brother, help my father, all that. Not really anything special. Yeah, I mean, I just there's not like a ton going on with her. She's relatively by the books heroine type character trying to save the day, blah blah blah, right? Not anything super noteworthy in terms of that. I think the other prominent characters, I guess, would be this is like the current crown prince who also led an unfortunate life and kind of suffered abuse in a similar way to what she did with the royal family. He was not one of the ones that abused her. As a matter of fact, they were also pretty close in the previous life, but in this one they're meeting at a much younger age, and she wants to help him because they were friends. So he ends up being a relatively prominent character. And you often get to see her thoughts on the dynamic change between, this life and the previous life. So he ends up being a relatively interesting character. I wouldn't say anything like super in depth or whatever, but like it's fun, right? The whole idea of like, oh, he's a crown prince and, is trying to do what's best for his family, and she's, trying to help him at a younger age so he doesn't turn out the way he did in her timeline when she met him. She's kind of trying to better his life on top of bettering her own because he was one of her closest friends, right? Which I like. That's kind of fun. Other prominent characters, this would be her father. There's also a brother, but to be perfect, they look the exact same, so I didn't feel like it was worth finding a picture of him. Okay. Here's the super... The Crown Prince thing is kind of fun. It's a little different than the usual. Like, a little bit. I'm not going to claim it's anything special, but a little different. The father, though, and the brother, it's pretty basic. It's basically in her previous life, she thought that they, didn't really like her. They thought pretty poorly of her. When, of course, in reality, he's a very, like, doting father, He's like, oh, I love my daughter. She's so cute. And, of course, the brother's the exact same, and she just never realized in her previous life. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty generic concept. I've seen it a million times, but yeah, it's fun as long as it's done well, and I think that the series does it pretty well. It's like a cute little, like, oh, they're starting to get closer, and she, because she's a more mature person, she can kind of see that he actually did love her the entire time. It was just very subtle. But yeah, I mean, the basic idea of the series is basically just, she's going around trying to, save her father from his, his end, save her brother from his end, save the crown prince's life, and make him a happier person, and just improve her life, and then live a happier life that doesn't involve going to war all the time like she did in her previous one. And I would say it's pretty fun. I have no real complaints. I think it's like an enjoyable little, let's go and just get some stuff done, see how they get it done, and just have a nice little time. I guess to end this, I'll just give a little SAA Now, you might ask, what is SAE? Well, it's story, art, enjoyment. As far as story goes, I think it's well done tropes, so my typical rating for that is a 7. I don't think it's fair to really go much higher than that for well done tropes. It's just fine. Um, as far as art goes, you know, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I will say though, it's very generic. They're not really going anywhere new with, you know, designs and things like that. So again, I think a 7 would be pretty fair. And then as far as enjoyment goes, I've seen this a lot. I could read the same thing, you know, repeatedly and still have at least some fun with it. So I'm not going to take away too much for that, but I think it's kind of just, you know, again, well done tropes, so that's all right. I enjoyed it. Like, it wasn't just average. It was like, oh, that was fun. But yeah, I think total, like overall, I think a 7 would be a pretty fair rating. Like, it does everything pretty well, like above average, I would say. And you know, most of the points are done, even, you know, even though they're tropes, I think it's done pretty well. So I think it makes for a fun read. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's fun. I think it's worth a read. Yeah. I would, yeah, I think that's about it. I would appreciate if, you know, if you could like, comment, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Maybe leave another story you want me to read down below. Even if I read it, I'll read it again and review it. Whatever, I don't really care. Yeah. I'll see ya.